I went to Hometown Quilt Company, I printed out the template, and I cut out my piece. But then I decided I was going to do something different. So I'm going to, instead of cutting my piece out from the template, I'm going to draw on my fabric. So you'll cut your template out and then you'll just draw directly on your fabric. Now I'm using a fabric marker that is disappearing ink, Mark Be Gone. One is air soluble and the other is water soluble. And I'm doing 2 because I have to make 2 little people, these little ghosts. So that's 1. And here's the second one. Now, these would be great for like a basket in your living room or in your foyer, or super cute teacher's gifts if you had something like that you needed to do. All right. So I've traced, I cut my template out, and then I decided to do it this way. You can do it either way. You can cut it out and then sew it and pink it, or you can do what I'm doing. Now, I'm doing it this way because then I can sew directly on the lines that I just drew. But before I sew these together, I want to take just the piece that I drew on. So I've got some scraps that are strips from a 10-inch layer cake, or a bunch of them actually. And I'm going to choose a few of them. I'll count the number of pieces in just a second because I have not counted them. Now these are roughly 1 inch wide, some of them smaller, some of them maybe just a little bit bigger, but roughly 1 inch wide. And I'm gonna lay them like this in an X pattern, 12, 13. So it looks like 13 1 by 5 inch pieces. I'm gonna take another piece that's 1 inch by 10 inches. And I'm gonna find the center of my ghost. So I'm going to lay my 1 by 10 inch piece down right there, and I'm going to lay this one on top of it, right where I want to sew. Now I'm going to stitch. Now I'm going to stitch this away, but I'm just going to stitch right here in a straight line, back and forth a few times, because we're going to pull on it and we want it all to stay in place. So our long piece of fabric goes this way, and our stitches go this way, because we're going to pick this up and tie it in a minute. But first we have to sew our ghost together. Now, do we think our ghost needs eyes? Probably, huh? All right. Now, I'm going to change my thread because I want to sew it with black thread, because my pieces are black, and you're going to be able to tell if I sew it with white thread. You don't have to change your bobbin thread because you're not going to see that. It's going to be on the inside of your stuffy when you're finished, so just the top thread. Now, I'm just using a straight stitch and stitching these on, but you could absolutely do a zigzag if you wanted to. And I'm back stitching when I start and when I stop, because my grandma said so.
Sorry, y'all. I forgot to tell y'all. We're making a stuffy, a ghost stuffy. And I'm loving all of the Halloween things. So y'all don't forget to email me photos to hometownquiltcompany@gmail.com of all of the things that you make. We all want to see.
Okay, we've sewn our eyes on. Now, I'm going to take all of my bow pieces and push them in, so that when I sew on top of it, I won't sew my bow pieces together. Now I'm going to sew all the way around my ghost, except I'm going to leave a hole to stuff him. And I'm going to leave my hole, I think, right here in this curve at the bottom. Be careful not to sew your bow if you're doing a bow. And a cute little bow tie would be precious if you're making this for a little fella instead of a little lady. Oh, pretty side on the outside, pretty side on the outside. So the ugly sides are on the inside, pretty sides are on the outside.
You can cut your pieces out before you sew it, or you could cut them out with pinking shears before you sew it. But I've tried it a few different ways, and I think this is the easiest way.
Okay, we've got it sewn, and here's where I left my hole, right here at the bottom. Now I'm going to stuff it, and then I'm going to use my pinking shears and cut it. I'm going to take my long 2 pieces, pull it up so that my bow gathers, and I'm going to tie a knot. Oh my goodness, y'all, this is so cute. And then cut off your excess so it's the same length as your other pieces. And after we stuff it, we'll fluff our bow up. So I don't want mine to be super full. I want it to be fluffy, but not like, I don't want it to be big. So I'm not trying to stuff mine tight, but you stuff yours as full as you want it to be. Y'all, this is the cutest thing ever. I have a second one to make when I get done. And there's this book. It's called The Little Quilt Who Was a Ghost. And if you've never read it, y'all, it's so sweet. And it's about a little ghost, and he's a quilt, and all of his family are sheets, his mom, his dad, all of his friends, and he's bundlesome and heavy, and he can't fly fast, and he can't hide quickly, and all he wants to do is watch the little kids trick or treat on Halloween night, and all his friends can because they can get away so fast, but he can't. It's such a sweet story. Now, I think I have it about as full as I want it to be. Now I'm gonna sew the hole that I left. One of y'all emailed to tell me about these pinking shears. It's my first time using them, but they're like spring loaded, so they are helpful, and they are way better than what I have. Because what I have is just, it hurts my hands to use. Not that they're not great, they just hurt my hands. And these are so much easier to use. Oh my goodness. Now I'm gonna cut, not on the line that we drew, because we do not want to cut our stitches. We're just gonna cut on the outside of that line, all the way around. And you know, I put this bow right here for her, but it could have been in her hair too, y'all. Okay, here she is. You go make yours while I go make my other one. My name is Tammy. I'm your favorite sewing teacher, and I would love for you to come sew with me.